going to return to the subject of prepositions, but this time, instead of prepositions of time, we will be looking at prepositions of place. I'd like to just start by talking about prepositions in general. A lot of people don't really know what a preposition is. And the way that I'd like you to think about a preposition is simply a word which tells us about the relationship between two things. So if we just go back to the previous lesson and I give you an example such as I will wait for you until 5 p.m. Can anybody spot what the preposition is here? Correct, yes. The preposition here is the word until. Can anybody see what the relationship is that until is connecting? I will wait is the first part of the relationship. 5 p.m. is the second part. So we have I wait and 5 p.m. Until is simply explaining that this and this will be connected via the duration of time up to the point of 5 p.m. In today's class, we're going to be learning about prepositions of place. This is what many people think about when they think about prepositions. Words such as on, off, behind, in front, under, above, around. These words tell us about the relationship with two, let's say, objects, just to make it simple in the beginning. Two objects in space. For example, let's say that we have a box. This is a simple element. At the moment, there's no relationship between the box because we don't have anything for it to relate to. However, if I was to include a cat, now we can see that we can have a relationship between the cat and the box. The preposition here can help us to describe what the relationship is between the cat and the box, or the box and the cat, depending on what we wish to focus on. So, for example, if we focus on the cat, we can say that the cat is above the box. This describes the location of the cat in relation to the box. If we focus on the box, we can say that the box is below the cat. Now we're focusing on the box and we're saying where the box is in relation to the cat. If we move the box here, we now have a different relationship with the cat and the box, and also the box and the cat. If we focus on the cat, we can say the cat is in the box. In the box. We are now describing the location of the cat in relation to the box. The box is around the cat because the box is all around the cat. We are describing where the box is in relation to the cat. Let's look at some other prepositions of space or location. We can say under. We can say next to. We could say beside. And we can say on. Let's practice some examples. First of all, starting with under. The church is under the clouds. The church is also under the sun. The church is under the moon. This is under. Now we have a dinosaur. The dinosaur is also under the clouds. The dinosaur is under the sun. The dinosaur is under the moon. But the dinosaur is not next to the moon. It's not next to the sun. And it's not next to the clouds. Do you know what the dinosaur is next to? Correct. The dinosaur is next to the church. Here we have an egg and a fork. Where is the fork? The fork is next to the egg. The fork is also beside the egg. Beside, at the side of the egg. So we can say the egg is next to the fork, or the egg is beside the fork. Both of these give us information about the relationship in space between the egg and the fork. When I say space, I am referring to the physical space, the three-dimensional world, not outer space. Finally, we have the preposition on. On. This is similar to above, but the connection between the two elements are more physical. For example, the hen is on the egg. The hen is physically on the egg. If we were able to look in the egg, we would see a baby chick or a yolk. If we were to go in there, if we were to open it, we would say that the chick is inside the egg. Inside. People often confuse on with inside. For example, I am on my house. I am inside my house. People confuse these because they think that their feet are on the house. But your body is inside the house. Your feet are on the floor. So when we think about on, think about something physically touching something else. A point to note is that the thing which is on does not always need to be directly above. For example, my glasses are on my head. For this to be the case, my glasses do not need to be here, but they are still on my head because they are resting on different parts of my head to stop them falling on the floor. So to finish today, I'm going to give you some prepositions of space, and I would like you to make up your own sentences using 2 elements and 1 preposition. We're going to use in, under, next to, on, beside, in. Let's try and think of a short, simple sentence using 2 elements and the preposition in. Okay, very good. My sandwich is in her bag. My sandwich is in her bag. Here we can see that the preposition in tells us that one thing, my sandwich, is located in her bag. Again, as we talked about at the beginning of this lesson, this tells us about the relationship between the sandwich and the bag in regards to location. Under. Mrs. Roberts is under the car. Very good. Mrs. Roberts is under the car. She is lying on her back, facing upwards, fixing the car. We describe that her relationship to the proximity of the car is that she is under the car. But what would it be if we were focusing on the car? We need a preposition which is not currently here. Can you think of what preposition that would be? If we start with the car, capitalized T, is Mrs. Roberts. What is the missing preposition in this sentence? Well, you might think maybe it's on, or maybe it's above. How do we know? How do we know whether it's on or above? Well, the difference is that if the car was on Mrs. Roberts, this would be more suggestive of an accident. Maybe the car has run over Mrs. Roberts and Mrs. Roberts has been crushed. The car is physically on her. But this is not the case, because Mrs. Roberts is simply fixing her car by moving her body underneath. Maybe she's using some kind of movable platform to propel her body underneath the car like a mechanic, so that she can tinker around with the workings of the car beneath. In this case, we would say the car is above Mrs. Roberts. Mrs. Roberts is here and the car is here. It's not on her, it's above her. A bit like when we talked about the church and the clouds. We said that the clouds were above the church. The clouds were not on the church, otherwise that would have meant that the clouds were resting on the top of the church, actually touching the church. Can you think of a short, simple sentence to describe the relationship between two objects using next to? Okay. The milk is next to the soil. The milk is next to the soil. Let's imagine that you have some soil, maybe in your garden. It could be in a bag ready to use with some plants, planting, gardening. And right next to the milk you have the soil. It's directly next to it. We could also use beside. The milk is beside the soil. Now this one's interesting because if you switch it around, it doesn't really change. We could say the soil is next to the milk, or the soil is beside the milk. It doesn't make any difference whatsoever. Okay, finally, we have on. Okay. Brandy, as in the name brandy, not the drink. Brandy is on the bus. Brandy is on the bus. Brandy is physically on the bus. Brandy's feet are directly in contact with the bus. Now you might be thinking, but wait a minute, didn't you say that if we use the location of a house, then we don't say she is on the house? We would say she is in the house. However, with transport, we often use on. If we say she is on the house, we would think that she is on the roof of the house. We would expect that she is here. However, if we're talking about a bus, a plane, a ship, we wouldn't say she is in the bus or she is in the ship. We would say she is on the bus. Many students at this point want to know why. They want to know the rules. With English, often there are rules, and many times there are not rules. I would encourage you to avoid learning the rules. All you need to know is that we use on for transport. That's it. Just think of that as your rule. Don't worry about the reason why. I say this to you because if you try to learn English and also the rules, you are doubling up what you learn. Do not know the rules. They just recognize the patterns. They remember, on the bus, on the boat, on the plane, on the train, without knowing the real reason of why. So I encourage you to keep it simple and don't get too bogged down in trying to think of why.
And you will be set free from that addiction, from religion. You will be set free. You will be set from what? What you need is a relationship with the Father. You get that unless you get it through Jesus Christ. He loves you. He died for you. He will always love you. He's waiting for you to come. What you need is a relation. Father.